You've got years of experience forecasting hurricanes like this in Florida.
Yeah, tell us what people can expect in this upcoming hurricane now.
Well, the last time we had a threat like this to the Tampa Bay area was back in 2004 with Hurricane Charlie, but Charlie turned the corner, skipped Tampa Bay, and went in just north of Fort Myers. In order to understand what this system is doing, it helps to look at the history of Tampa Bay hurricane impacts. And Tampa Bay has not had a direct impact since 1921. That's when a hurricane formed out here in the northwestern Caribbean, came right between Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula, and then moved from the southwest off to the northeast and directly impacted Tampa Bay. It only had 75-mile-an-hour winds at the time. However, Tampa Bay suffered a 10 to 12-foot storm surge. Once the hurricane starts piling water into that bay, it's very difficult for the water to get out. So as the winds continue to lash that water and push it into the bay, it just gets higher and higher and higher. And the end result, as you can see, some very devastating storm surge flooding inside of this Tampa Bay area. Look at the eye of this system. Now the sustained winds are at 180 miles per hour. It was just 24 hours ago this hurricane had 90-mile-an-hour sustained winds. The bottom completely fell out of it. It rapidly intensified overnight. And here's the setup, the steering currents on what's driving Milton is that we have a trough of low pressure hanging out over the eastern half of the country. These troughs will oftentimes generate fronts. There is a front that has stalled right down here in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. That's why the computer models have been suggesting for the last week, watch out, something is going to form. And sure enough, something formed over the weekend. And now you can see that frontal boundary is going to be one of the guiding mechanisms that will help to pull the system from the southwest to the northeast. And with that jet stream and that trough of low pressure in place, Milton has absolutely nowhere to go but in a general east-northeast direction. Impact is expected to be a Category 3 or a Category 4. The good news is it should weaken before it makes landfall, but it is still going to be a major hurricane, and it's going to be making landfall somewhere between Fort Myers and Tarpon Springs, probably around the Tampa Bay area, guys. The storm is still 650 miles away from the coastline, so a lot can happen between now and then, but the West Coast will take a direct hit somewhere along that coastline.
So there are a lot of ways to help people dealing with all this happening. One's the Sinclair Cares Hurricane Helene Relief Campaign. CBS 2 and Fox 9 are partnering with the Salvation Army and our parent company Sinclair Incorporated to help with humanitarian relief efforts across the disaster zone. You can scan this QR code with your smart device or go to sinclaircares.com, and that is the way you can make a donation. No matter how big, how small, it'll help.